Good evening. My name is Shayla Anthony, and I will be presenting a case study for course SEDN 658. My presentation is about an intervention program for a 6-year-old girl named Natalie, who's in the first grade. I knew Natalie personally because I was her pre-K teacher, you know, prior, obviously, to her attending first grade. Her mom and I remained in contact after she left my class. I did get a chance to briefly speak with the teacher about some concerns that she was having in regards to Natalie's progress or her successfulness in the classroom. Some of the things that the teacher pointed out was that Natalie typically scores higher grades in mathematics versus reading. She stated that when Natalie reads, she often reads too fast, and because of her reading too fast, she typically mispronounces words and she displays recalling details in text. In addition to that, when Natalie sees the same word multiple times, she's unable to identify it. So the first few times she will sound out the word, and typically when reading, once we see a word more than once, we should be able to point out that word, and she's not able to do that. Sorry, just bear with me. I'm scrolling down as I'm speaking. So her mom did mention to me that she too was a little concerned about her reading because of the fact that she was reading too fast. And she said that she couldn't tell if Natalie was just reading too fast just to be finished with the passage, or if she just thought maybe it was just too easy. So she asked me to just let her know how it went, and I did just that. After administering the IRI, I was able to give Natalie's mom some suggestions. Even though I'm not her first grade teacher, I did speak with her first grade teacher as well, and we both came up with some strategies for her, which was super helpful for the mom in the end. So at first, I was able to administer the primer A list, and she read most of the words with accuracy, but minus 4 words, she had a difficult time pronouncing those words. I did try to get her to read the next list, but she told me she looked at the list and she was like, "This is too hard." She didn't even try it. Next, I administered the oral reading passage. I noticed that she just read it so fast, and when she was reading, a lot of the words were jumbled. She was mispronouncing a lot of the words. So, just to see and test her, I wanted to see if maybe I administer it again and encourage her to read a little bit more slower, if she would be able to, pronounce the words with more accuracy. She did, and she spent some time breaking the words apart so that I could hear that she was able to pronounce the words accurately. She scored really well with inferential questioning. After I read the passage, I was able to ask her some questions, and she did pretty well with it. I did attempt to give her the next higher level of the reading passage, but she refused, and she did attempt to read 1 or 2 sentences, and then you could see it in her face that she was very frustrated, and she decided that she just didn't want to read, and I didn't want to force her too much. Next, I gave her the silent reading passage that same day, and I could tell that she had completely checked out. She was like, "I am done reading for today." So I decided, I was like, "Can I come back tomorrow?" And she agreed, so I came back the next day. And throughout the passage, I could see her her whole face was just kind of disinterested. She was looking around. When I went to ask her some of the questions, she was not able to answer any of those questions. So I learned that Natalie clearly needed something that was interesting for her. Otherwise, she would completely check out of it. Finally, I read the next passage to her, and she displayed some difficulties answering inferential questions. Excuse me. I noticed, like I said, that she was only able to listen and attend to readings that were interesting to her. When she read something that was at her comfortability level, she read it with ease. She was able to answer most of the questions. So here I go with my program. So I named it Have Phonics, and after spending time with Natalie, I noticed that there were some strategies that could help her to improve her reading skills. So I said that the Have Phonics program is for students in grades K through 4. It comes with a teaching manual to help students learn how to read, or I'm sorry, to help students use the program and to help the teachers implement the program. There is a way for students to listen to the stories while reading a book. Um, sorry. The program also includes some worksheets that can test her listening skills and how she was able to answer questions, or even her ability to comprehend what she just read. So I included some worksheets in there. There were different stories that interest him. So I know Aunt Natalie mentioned to me before that she's really interested in animals. So I created some worksheets where there were some animals doing some like engaging in real life situations, like sharing and things that children engage in the first grade. I said that she clearly needs help with fluency, because it's one thing to read really fast, but then if you're reading really fast and you don't even understand what you're reading, then that tells me that you're not a very fluent reader. So I said that she would be allotted some time to practice her reading skills. I noticed that in a article that I read by Foreman, it says that it's important that we implement a block schedule for reading support. And so that's exactly what she needs. In the program, there are different reading level abilities, such as if she's here, then, these texts will relate to that level, or these passages will relate to that level. And each time she's able to answer the questions accurately, or each time she's able to read with fluency, she can move up another level. I said that some assessments in my intervention program is like running records, which is the same thing that I was just mentioning to you. It offers the ability for students and teachers to discuss the progress and future goals of what she needs to do. So for Natalie, I mentioned that she needs to be given a running record at least once a week. I think that this would help her to pace her reading and will help her to develop better reading strategies. I'm just moving along. So I also said that I would include checklists, and in the Have Phonics, that's the name of my program, we'll be able to use different checklists that come with each passage to assess her reading. So, for example, in one of the passages, it discusses an animal that displays difficulty sharing with his peers. The checklist that goes with the story would be diagnostic for the teacher to encourage a specific reading skill. So, for Natalie, some skills that I will include on the checklist would be the student is able to implicitly recall information from text, or the student can identify the same word more than once with accuracy. And I think these are things that Natalie really needs more assistance with. So it's one thing to read a word and sound it out, cat, and then for her to see the same word cat, like over time she should be able to identify, like, wait, I read this word at the beginning of the text, so I know what the word is. I also said that another way to assess her comprehension should be observation. Simply taking notes of what we're noticing about her reading habits and if she's progressing over time. I mentioned the worksheets. Some formative assessment ideas would be to ask her like what she read, and then maybe draw a short summary about what she read. I said that we could also give her quizzes, asking her questions about what she read and having her answer it with the correct answer. I said some summative assessment ideas would be end of the unit. So Nada will be able to again answer questions, and it'll be about all of the text that was in the program. Some next steps, if she can't master the skill, might be to continue to take notes. And if she's not able to master certain skills, then maybe, just maybe, she might need a little bit more assistance other than what she can get in the classroom. So maybe looking into evaluations for her. My main goal is to keep trying strategies until I feel like I've exhausted absolutely every single strategy possible. Lesson planning, I would pretty much include I would include these different assessment tools in my lesson plan and implement them throughout the day. I would communicate with her family and other teachers, letting them know what she still might need work in, what we're noticing, what she's developing well in, what areas we're still like, we don't know what else to do. So I said that I would also use the Common Core standards to help guide my assessment. So for Common Core standards, there's a standard that says demonstrate understanding of spoken words, syllables, and sounds. I said when applying the standard to an assessment, things like the checklist would be useful. In the checklist, I would write that Natalie was able to sound out the letters and the words. So I would include that in addition to the passage that she read. Overall, Have Phonics is an intervention program that was designed for Natalie to become a successful reader in her first grade classroom. This program included several methods of assessment in which I would be able to track her reading progress. I believe that if Natalie is able to use this intervention program, she will be more successful at identifying the same word more than once, being able to make inferences instead of things that are literally there. She can make inferences or kind of use her, mind to think like answering questions like what if or why do you think? And I think that she'll also do better at recalling details from the text. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.